How are you doing, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Are you in California right now?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So listen, first of all, I just want to say congratulations on your short film, Han. It stars Zhang Weng as Lin, a Chinese immigrant who works in a restaurant, kind of like struggling, balancing his life in California and his life back at home. This seems like a very personal film, so I'm just curious, like how accurate or authentic it is, and where did this idea came from, from your perspective?
Yeah, so came to me during COVID. I was living in California in the beach town. I was in LA at the time, so it was mostly a Caucasian population, but there's still like Chinese restaurant around the area. And sometimes me and my friend goes, and we notice, we become friends with the owner and the people from the in the kitchen, and then we talk, and then we realize, this kind of situation happens with a lot of them. Coming here, have to leave their family and to send money back home. But because this is, Asia and America have Pacific Ocean in between, I couldn't really see them at least 10 years, 15 years sometimes. So come to me and then I become to do field research for a couple of months to get to know people like them and then, get to the story. And yeah, that's pretty much how we get the ideas to start with.
Did you meet someone specifically that kind of like gave you that ID, or it came from your own family? I'm just curious. I don't want to get too personal, but is it someone from your family, or is it your personal background that kind of like put that film into into life? Yeah.
So I came to the US when I was 16 by myself, but I get to go home every like 6 months. I came to study abroad. I get to go home like every 6 months. I get to see my family. But with this film, with this story, I have to interview them because they are usually uh older adults. They have different life pattern. They usually didn't go to college or university. They are working professional, chef, this and that. So, uh, we have similar, I guess, isolation in some way and the same cultural background, but at the same time, we live very different lifestyle.
Yeah, I can totally get that. I'm sorry, I didn't want to get like personal and
No,
ask
no,
you too
no,
much,
I understand everything. Yeah, I
too
guess we
question.
share the same loneliness or same isolation, but at the same time, I
Yeah.
have friends. I speak the language well, so I get to blend into the culture, into the school. I
Mm.
have a lot of American friends, but they don't really usually speak the language.
Oh, absolutely. But there's definitely something being said about the difficulties and the sacrifices you have to make as an immigrant. You're trying to help your family. In that specific case, he has bills to pay. There's a cultural barrier in America, financial struggles. So how did you craft the character of Lynn? Was it something that you wanted to get off your chest, or you just I'm just curious how do you craft the main character because he's very much at the art of the film. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that we trying to do is to not to do a misery porn, if that makes sense. But at the
Yeah,
same
it does. It does make sense.
At the
Yeah.
same time, I met a lot of them. Their life is like that. They go to work. They work 10, like 9, 10 hours per day. They usually live very close to a restaurant. So between break, they go back to the place to sleep and then come back to work and then go back home and go to work. They don't do anything else. They, I mean, they do. I mean, I usually talk to them and they say they do gambling, but they don't really, do anything else. Yeah. So yes,
Do
that.
do you think there's certain types of stereotypes that you wanted to avoid, but at the same time, there's kind of like important? I went to China like 10 or 15 years ago, so I know there's a lot of smoking. You mentioned the gambling, and but
Yeah.
those little moments feel very much important in that film specifically. So he's back at home, he's very lonely, and you just can't you kind of like you feel his loneliness. So I'm just, yeah, does that make sense? Like, do you feel like you had
Yeah.
to import, like, avoid some stereotypes, but at the same time, you want to bring them to to the world? Yeah.
Because this kind of topic is a little harder to do because you want to avoid just to show them their boring life every day,
Yeah.
but at the same time they live the same life almost every day. And then one thing I'm trying to avoid is that because for a lot of immigrant is that the stereotype is that you only live within your circle. You only talk to people of your same
Yeah.
and the same race. But I often talk to them. They say, "Oh yeah, I wanna be, I want to blend in, but like sometimes when I go to the restaurant, I don't even. It's hard for me to read the menu. It's hard for me to do
Hmm.
that." And then they came to the States. They kind of live in the same culture at the same time, kind of, but not really. And the Asian stereotype is basically, male just work and then being hardcore, and then it just doesn't show your soft side, and this is just something that we're trying to avoid, I guess. Yeah,
Hmm.
like, I feel like as a man, as I get older, I realize a lot of responsibility that my parents have to do, and then not and talking meeting them, realize how much sacrifice they have to make for the family home. Like this is a life that I don't like hard for me to imagine, like just going home alone and I go to work, home alone, home alone, work, and then
Hmm.
yeah.
As much as we don't see his own family, I feel like it's very much omnipresent in some ways as a part of the film, and it's something it's very cultural, right? Because like I'm from Canada, from Quebec. I'm very close to my girlfriend, her family, my family, but I feel like we have different ways to deal with it. But I don't know how I would handle being like miles and miles and miles, hundreds and thousands of miles away from them. So that's kind of a difficult thing that you approach in the film. So I'm curious, like you personally, are you still close with your parents? Or are they back home, or they're over here in
Yeah,
California?
I'm pretty close with my family, but they're
Yeah,
back home in
yeah.
Taiwan. But I only get to see them every 6 months, usually six or every 1 year. Like I'm trying to go home as soon as I can, but as a
Hmm.
filmmaker, career is very uncertain. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm very close to my family, and this is a family film, I guess. Family film and personal film for
yeah.
me.
I totally felt that, by the way, Benny. First of all, I know I mentioned it, but I really loved it.
Thank
I don't
you.
know, it just kind of like hit me hit me in the right way. But first of all, that comes from the performance from Chang Wang. Sorry if I mispronounced his name, but the main actor, extremely powerful performance. I want to ask first, like, is it an actor you worked with before, or did you reach out to him? Like, what was the process of working with him? Because I absolutely love his performance in the film.
Oh yeah, it was my honor to work with him. He's actually very experienced actors in Los Angeles Asian community. Like Asian actors community is not very big in the
Mhm.
North America. Maybe it's a big because culture really Asian people doesn't really pursue art. But yeah, he's a very experienced actor. We met through casting. And in the beginning, he wasn't very happy with the script, and then his thing is very, you need more depth. And I tried to improve through a couple months, and then eventually he said yes. But it's my honor to work with him. It's really great, and he just did a feature with the legendary Taiwanese actress Zhang Zhen, if you know, from the Bright Summer Day. He
Yes,
did,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
He did a
Wow,
feature with
wow.
him.
Okay. Yeah.
Last year, it was in Cannes. What was it called? It was Lucky Liu, and he was one of the supporting actors. And yeah, but it was my I learned a lot with him, working with him, and so I was young at the time. When the film was filmed, I was like 24, 25, so it was really a lot for me to. I have to be better, to keep up with this older, experienced actors.
So you mentioned he had some input in the screenplay because he was not necessarily satisfied. Do you feel like it was a compromise, or you feel like it was kind of like an advice and it helped push the thing into a higher level? What was your thought on that?
I feel like because he's an immigrant himself, he's a first gen with his parents, and his parents owns a restaurant, so he kind of know this kind of culture a little bit. And he wanted me to push better because he saw a lot of film with like Asian, like I guess misery porn whatsoever, and he want more depth in the character. You cannot just be sad all the time. And
Yeah.
I was trying to improve. Maybe I feel like I didn't reach 100% of his expectation, or like, but maybe we meet in the middle ground. But I did my best at the time. But right now, if I look back, I'll do a lot of things differently. It's been like 2 years since I made it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the timeline. I honestly really don't feel like I want to get political or anything, but it it does like impact the movie in some way. So there's like the mask. It takes place during COVID. The movie starts with a bang, literally. So it's kind of something that's part of the movie. So is that something you really feel like it was important to address? Because I feel like in North America, some people started feeling like very, I'm just gonna say like racist about Chinese people because of everything that happened with COVID and everything. So it's part of the film, but I do feel like you put it like not in the backdrop, you made it your own thing, but like we're just curious, like why was it so important for you to like talk about that like specifically? Yeah.
For me, I guess I was a lucky individual. I didn't encounter too much physical violence. Being in
Hmm.
the US, I've been here since high school, but they encounter some, I guess, microaggressions and little like they will be in the same room, but they will really not talk to you or really hang out with you sometimes.
Mm.
And then during COVID, I was in California in a beach town in Santa Barbara, but it's considered as a higher, I guess, income area. But at the same time, my friends who was Asian and encountered some like verbal comments here and there, and then people like
Mm.
they will be avoidant with your like maybe they when you walk past them they'll cover your mouth this and that. And during COVID, the Asian hate crime was really raising. I mean, this film I was right starting to think about it during COVID, but I didn't really have
Mhm.
the time to do it. But at the same time, that we didn't really adjust too much. The Asian was blamed for this COVID, and then we really want to see as a human. And I feel like it's important to address that we are also being discriminated sometimes. I mean, not
Mhm.
sometimes. It's not all the time. So,
No, you're absolutely right, and it's so frustrating because it's something that you have to talk about. So, in a way, the film I think it does a great job at just sending a message while also being very reflective. You just follow this character, and I want to talk about the cinematography in some ways. There's a lot of close-ups and L shots. It kind of puts the audience in the shoes of the main character. So just curious, what was your approach in crafting the look of the film? Because that's kind of like a crucial part of it.
oh yeah, from the cinematography, the most important part is that we want to show the life the character have. So, his life is basically just work, work, work. So we're trying to avoid, like visually, we're trying to avoid something too wide because until the very last. And a lot of in the kitchen, his life is constantly moving, times fast, even though they might encounter some like work bullying issue. But outside of work, his life is stuck, he's stuck. Like he lived 15 years, 20 years, he's doing the same thing over and over again. And then we trying to do more on the static shot and then make the audience feel that they don't have much to go. This is the thing they have to go through every day. Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels very personal. So you mentioned it, and I kind of that was my first feeling when I saw it. So no, but you did a great job with it, Betty. Honestly, like that was fantastic. But you mentioned kind of like the way it was shot. I feel like one of the challenge these days when you're shooting film is cell phones because that's something that can feel like very boring in some way and challenging to film.
Oh
So
yeah, I
that
mean like text and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something you had to incorporate in your film. So yeah, I always thought it was difficult to incorporate, but it's part of our lives. We're not like it's not always the most exciting thing visually, but in your case, like it was essential because he has to stay in touch with his family. So what was your approach with that? Like incorporating the cell phones in the
No,
storyline and in the
yeah.
film.
That was a hard part because we were deciding if we want to go more as a art house style or like genre film style. I guess in the end we do kind of like in the middle ground, but like in film we're deciding if we should do like because one of the some of the most common way to do film is like showing the actual text on the in the like a
Yeah.
animation on the screen, or you show the film itself, or you do just text. Um, I guess we're trying to do most organic way because doing post on the like jacking the screen on the actual the more organic ways the better for us. We're trying to do everything more like I guess real because I feel like if you're doing projection, just feel like a genre film if that makes sense. I feel like a rom-com or like family drama. I mean, I guess this is drama in some way, but like. foam. It give you like more like extra shot of foam, give you more like saddle feeling, which is why I prefer.
Well, I feel like it can become distracting if you mention like you have like the whole screen pops up while while he's
Yeah.
texting and everything. So the way you did it is just you just see the translation in the bottom and it just had as it is, and you can see his reaction to the text, and that to me felt like more compelling and more realistic in some way instead of having just like a screen that kind of like, if anything, it's distracting the audience more than anything else. So when the credits rolled, first of all, I was emotional because of the ending. It comes first of all from the performance, really hit me. But I felt like I just watched something that had a lot to say. And I noticed there was a lot of Chinese people working on the crew. How did you pick your crew? Was it important for you to have people like from your community to take part of the film?
Uh, I guess because I moved to the Los Angeles, I get to meet a lot of filmmaker, and when I usually work in a project, I discuss the log line, discuss the stories with the potential crew, and to see if they're interested in. I usually want to work with people who are actually interested in with this kind of independent art stuff. Just luckily, I guess half of them are Asian. Like, I talk to them, go, oh, this is about Asian story. Yeah, I just did a lot of commercial. I want to do something about my culture. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But just, I guess luck. I just happened to meet half of them being Asian, which is good, I guess. Yeah.
I don't think it's luck. I think you're talented, and you like, if you have something, a voice, and you have something interesting to say, it's gonna bring a lot of talent, and that's what you did. Just
Thank
no, but
you.
I know I'm serious, Benny. Like, yeah, it's generally a great film, super well made, well, well acted and everything, and has a message behind it. So I don't think it's luck. You have to give yourself some credit for that. So on that note, what's the thing you're the most proud of in the film?
Uh, Proud of? I guess it's just everyone's patient in me.
Okay.
Everyone, yeah, everyone's patient in me. I'm very grateful. I guess everyone believe in me is something that I'm proud of. Like the and product, the film itself, I watched so many times. I watched it at least 100 times in post-production editing process. I watch it again, again, again. So I don't really feel too much anymore at this point. But I guess I'm really proud of my crew and my cast for being part of it and believing in me. I guess because the process take a long time. Like the script, we were pushing it again and again, and then after we film it, and we put, and then the editing process took 1 whole year because I was lacking. I was stuck. I was like, oh, this is too much here and there. But I'm really proud of my cast and crew for their trust and their patience in me.
How would you describe yourself as a director? Fun or difficult? Or, yeah, how would you describe yourself as a director?
I also have fun
Yeah.
within like people say I'm serious sometimes, but like I'm usually very chill. It's just like to myself, I'm very like I guess strict. But like, oh yeah, I gotta do this better. I gotta do that better. Let me rewrite it. Let me try different editing. Yeah, but I usually have a very clear vision. But after post production, just kind of stuck in your head.
Yeah. No, but you mentioned the fact that you watched it probably 100 times. I do understand that. Like, I mean, I do video for work. Like, I'm not a director, but I do commercial thing and project, and you keep watching the same thing over and over again. And like you mentioned it, at some point you don't feel anything
Yeah, I
watching because you
know.
know all
I
part of it.
recently we're doing I did a commercial work for like educational
Yeah.
courses and we just have to do like subtitles and I watch it like so many times I can't even memorize the books right
Yeah.
now.
So I guess what's next for you? What's next for Benny? Is it something you want to explore in like as a full feature film, or maybe explore similar themes in a different film? What's on your mind right now? Are you just like taking a break, or you're working on something?
Right now that I am in process of my next short, but at the same time, most of my short can be developed into feature. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like this film is just so much packed. Like the original first cut is 35 minutes or
Okay.
40 minutes,
Okay.
and I have to cut them all. It's too much for sure. And then like the theme that I put, like one of the criticism I got is like I put too much in this film. I kind of get it because I it was supposed to be a feature, but anyway, right now I'm in the process of my next short, and I just finished a rough draft. I'm trying to do film grant, and then I feel like I'm one short away from feature, but just my personal opinion.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take much more of your time, Benny. I really appreciate. I love the film. I mean, I'm gonna keep track on you and what you do next because I really loved it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time as well. Take care.
Have fun. Thanks, man.